The forbidden zone, the galaxy, was vast, full of stars, planets, and empires. But there was one place every race avoided. They called it the Forbidden Zone. Others gave it darker names: the Dead Silence, the Border of Ghosts, the Black Line. Everyone knew what it really meant. Human space stories spread in every corner of the galaxy. Ships that entered never returned. Fleets that crossed the border were found as wrecks, floating without power, their crews gone. Some said the humans destroyed them. Others whispered that humans didn't need to fight their machines. Their shadows, their invisible weapons, did the work. Most dismissed these as myths. But deep inside, everyone believed them. Even the bravest captains never risked going near human borders. Except one, Commander Zirith Kal of the Vuruk Dominion had grown tired of fear. His empire was hungry for resources. Their fleets were strong, their weapons advanced, and their pride even stronger. He told his council, "Humans are nothing but ghosts hiding in the dark. Their space is full of empty worlds. We will take what we want. We will show the galaxy there is no monster to fear." Many warned him. The council itself hesitated. But Zirith was stubborn. His ship, the Iron Fang, was the most powerful warship in his fleet. His crew was trained, armed, and loyal. They believed in his words, or at least feared his anger enough to obey. When the day came, the Iron Fang crossed the edge of human space. The ship's hull trembled slightly as they passed the invisible line, but nothing happened. No alarms, no enemies, just endless stars. The crew began to relax. Some even laughed. "See?" Zirith said with pride. "All lies. The humans hide behind myths to protect their weak space." Yet not everyone on the ship felt at ease. The youngest officer, a navigator named Rin, stared at his screens. His hands shook slightly. "Commander," he said quietly, "the sensors are strange. They read movement, but I see nothing on the displays." "Malfunction," Zirith replied sharply. "Ignore it. Human tricks are nothing but empty signals." But Rin wasn't convinced. The sensors flickered again, blips of movement, shadows that disappeared as quickly as they appeared. Something was there. Something was following them. Hours passed. The stars around them seemed too quiet, too still. The crew spoke less. A cold tension filled the corridors. The laughter from earlier was gone. Then it happened. The communication console lit up. Static filled the bridge. Every officer turned to look. A sound broke through the static, a voice. Calm, cold, and human. "You should not be here." The words were simple. The tone was emotionless, like a judge passing sentence. The crew froze. Eyes widened. Even the bravest officers felt their blood turn cold. Zirith stood tall, his pride, refusing to bend. "A recording," he said, waving it off. An old automated warning. Nothing more. But Ring whispered, almost too quietly for anyone to hear, "No." That was live. Silence spread through the bridge. The crew's eyes darted to the dark space around them. No ships, no signals. Nothing but empty stars. Yet every one of them felt it, the weight of unseen eyes watching them. Zirith laughed to break the fear. "Let them watch. We are the Vuruk Dominion. We fear no ghosts." He turned back to his throne-like chair and gave the order to continue deeper into human space. Engines roared softly as the Iron Fang moved forward, but in the shadows of the stars, something moved with them. Small, silent, and unseen. The humans were already awake. The first warning. The Iron Fang glided deeper into the silent void of human space. Its dark hull reflected faint starlight, carrying the pride of the Vuruk Dominion across a border that no one dared to cross. Commander Zirith Kal sat tall in his command chair, eyes sharp, voice firm. His pride swelled as the hours passed without resistance. He wanted to send a message to the galaxy humans were only myths, shadows built from fear. But his crew did not share his confidence. The bridge was tense. Officers spoke in whispers, their eyes flicking nervously at the screens. The youngest navigator, Rin, continued to track the strange signals. His console flickered with ghostly readings, shadows that appeared and vanished too quickly to trace. "Commander," Rin finally said, his voice trembling, "something is here. Our scanners keep catching movement, but it's gone before I can lock on." Zirith's lips curled in annoyance. "Sensor ghosts. Old human tricks to scare cowards. We will not be frightened by shadows." The crew exchanged uneasy looks, but no one dared to speak against their commander. Hours stretched like days. The ship's corridors grew colder, darker. The crew avoided each other's eyes. Fear moved among them like an invisible spirit. Then it came again. The comms console flared to life, filling the bridge with static. The same voice cut through, calm and chilling. "You should not be here." This time, every officer froze. The voice was clearer, sharper, and unmistakably alive. Zirith rose from his chair. "Show yourself," he barked into the comms. "We are the Vuruk Dominion. We claim this space. Humans are nothing but myths." For a moment, there was silence. Then, slowly, the voice returned. "Leave now." Just 2 words. Cold, final, heavy with warning. The crew shivered. Some looked ready to run, though there was nowhere to go. Rin swallowed hard, his fingers gripping the console. "Commander, it's not a recording. Someone is watching us right now." Zirith snarled. "Then let them watch. We will prove their weakness." He turned to his weapons officer. "Scan for any ship nearby." The officer's hands shook as he worked the controls. The screens flickered empty, empty. Then, one reading appeared. A single vessel. Small. Too small to be a warship. The alien crew leaned forward, staring at the faint signal. It looked like a patrol craft, maybe a corvette. Against the Iron Fang, it was nothing. Zirith smirked. "This is the power of humanity? A single toy ship against us?" He laughed. "Destroy it?" Weapon systems hummed to life. Energy gathered at the Iron Fang's cannons. The massive ship locked on to the human vessel, but before they could fire, the human ship vanished. Not destroyed, not fleeing, simply gone. Where did it go? The weapons officer cried, his hands flying across the console. "It's off the scanners, completely gone," the crew panicked. Every screen flickered with static, like invisible hands were pressing on the ship itself. The ship's lights dimmed, shadows crawling across the walls. Then the human voice returned. "Closer now. Last chance." A blast shook the Iron Fang. Sparks flew across the bridge. The crew screamed. One of the lower decks had been struck, but no enemy appeared on sensors. "How?" the officer shouted. "We can't even see them." Zirith gritted his teeth, his pride burning hotter than his fear. "They use tricks. Cowards' tricks. Find them. Fire everything." The cannons roared into the empty void, beams of light cutting across the stars. But they hit nothing. Only silence answered back. The crew stared at their screens, their fear. Turning into horror, that the Iron Fang was the hunter of the Dominion, feared across the galaxy. Yet here, inside human space, they were blind prey. Zirith clenched his fists. "It's one ship. One. We will crush them." But deep inside, the crew already knew. This was not one ship. This was human space. And the humans were only just beginning to show themselves. Asterisk. The silent hunter of the Iron Fang floated like a wounded beast in the darkness of human space. Sparks still burned along one of its decks, smoke drifting through broken corridors. The crew worked frantically to seal the damage, their hands trembling. As they moved, no one dared to speak too loudly. The silence outside felt alive, as if listening. On the bridge, Commander Zirith Kal sat rigid in his chair, his claws tapping against the metal armrest. His pride would not allow fear to show, but his eyes betrayed unease. They had seen nothing. No ship, no weapons, no trace. And yet the Iron Fang had been struck with terrifying precision. Status? Zirith demanded. The weapons officer's voice shook. Minor damage on Deck 7. Shields. Shields did not detect the attack. It was like. It came from inside the shield perimeter. Inside. The word chilled the crew. Their shields were designed to block anything from plasma. Beams to missiles. Nothing should pass through. Nothing. The navigator, Rin, spoke in a whisper. They are here, Commander. They are watching us. Silence, Zirith snapped. His voice echoed across the tense bridge. They use tricks to weaken your spirit. Do not fall to fear. Find them. The sensors scanned the void again, sweeping through the dark. At last, a faint blip returned. The small human vessel reappeared at the edge of detection, just drifting, like it had been waiting. There! The weapons officer cried. Target locked. Fire! Zirith roared. The cannons unleashed their fury. Plasma bolts streaked through the void, cutting across the stars. Explosions of light filled the darkness where the human vessel had been. The bridge crew squinted, waiting to see wreckage, but there was nothing. The human vessel had vanished again. Then, before anyone could speak, another strike hit the Iron Fang, this time on its engines. The ship shook violently, alarms screamed, and several crew were thrown to the floor. Direct hit. Engine 3 is offline. The engineer shouted. We can't track them. They're invisible. Panic spread. Officers exchanged desperate glances. Some muttered prayers in their alien tongue. Others clutched their controls. If holding them tighter would save them, and then silence. The lights flickered. The screens went black for a heartbeat. And in that heartbeat, every soul on the bridge felt it. The humans were inside their systems. Suddenly, the main screen lit up. A face appeared. It was human. Pale skin, sharp eyes, calm expression. The human wore no armor, no helmet, no symbols. Of rank, just a simple black uniform with no name. The bridge fell into stunned silence. The human spoke with a voice colder than space itself. Your weapons are useless. Your shields mean nothing. Leave now. The crew froze, their hearts racing. The human's eyes seemed to pierce through the screen, staring directly at each of them. Zirith forced a laugh. You hide in the dark, human. You strike from shadows because you fear us. The human tilted their heads slightly, as if studying him. Then the screen went black again. At that exact moment, the Iron Fang's weapons shut down. Every cannon went offline. Control systems locked. No. The weapons officer shouted, slamming the console. I have no control. Nothing responds. The bridge descended into chaos. Alarms echoed through every deck. Crew shouted, systems failed, power flickered. Zirith's pride burned like fire, but even he felt the weight of fear pressing down on him. This was no ordinary enemy. This was not war as he understood it. This was the hunt. The Iron Fang was prey, and the humans were the hunters. Commander, Rin whispered, his eyes wide with dread. We cannot win. They're playing with us. Zirith gritted his teeth. His pride screamed to fight, to prove strength. But for the first time in his life, he felt a true fear. The human ship reappeared once more on sensors. This time, it was closer. Much closer. It moved without sound, without haste, like a predator circling its kill. And still, it did not fire. It didn't need to, because the message was already clear. The humans could destroy them at any moment. They simply chose not to. The bridge crew sat in silence, every breath heavy. No one dared to speak. And in that silence, the human voice returned, soft and final. This is your last warning. Asterisk, the trap the Iron Fang drifted in uneasy silence. Its mighty cannons were dead, its engines weak, and its crew drowning in fear. They had entered human space with pride, but now that pride cracked like glass. Still, Commander Zirith Cow refused to show weakness. He stood tall, his voice sharp as steel. Restart the systems, he ordered. Humans cannot hold us down forever. We will fight. But his officers hesitated. Screens still flickered, controls still locked, and the shadow of that human face haunted every eye on the bridge. Finally, the engineer spoke, his voice low. Commander, the humans are not disabling us. They are guiding us. Every system that fails pushes us deeper into their territory. The words struck the crew like a blade. Whispers spread across the bridge. Some officers gripped their seats. Others looked at the dark void on the screen as if it were alive. Zirith's jaw tightened. He would not let fear rule. Then we play along. Let them think they control us. We will strike when they are close. But deep inside, even he knew the truth. They were not hunters anymore. They were prey in a cage. Hours crawled by. The human ship appeared and vanished again and again, always just at the edge of detection. Sometimes it flashed across sensors for a heartbeat. Sometimes it seemed to drift lazily, like it didn't care. Always circling, always watching. The crew's nerves frayed. Small arguments broke out in the lower decks. A few whispered of mutiny. On the bridge, Navigator Rin finally spoke, his voice trembling. Commander, what if they never meant to destroy us? What if their plan was always to lead us here? Zirith's claws dug into the armrest. He did not answer. He could not, because in his heart he felt the same. And the moment came. The ship jolted. The stars on the screen shifted, replaced by a sight that froze the blood of every crew member. Dozens of ships uncloaked around them. They came from the shadows like ghosts, sleek, silent, black as night. Each one smaller than the Iron Fang, but moving with perfect precision, their weapons locked, their formation flawless. The bridge filled with gasps. Officers stared in horror. The galaxy had always whispered of human fleets, but no one had ever seen them, not like this. The humans had not sent one ship to scare them. They had sent one ship to lead them here. And now the trap was closed. This is impossible, the weapons officer stammered. His voice broke into panic. So many ships. Where were they hiding? They were always here, Rin whispered. His face was pale, his eyes wide with dread. Watching us, waiting for us to fall into their hands. The human voice returned, filling the bridge once more. You were warned. You did not listen. Every crew member froze. Some dropped their heads, unable to meet the voice. Others clutched at their consoles, as if holding on to life itself. The voice grew colder. Your fate was sealed the moment you crossed the line. You are surrounded. Zirith's pride fought to the last. He slammed his fist against the armrest. I will not surrender to shadows. He roared. We are the Vuruk Dominion. Before he could finish, the main screen lit up with a terrifying sight. The entire fleet of human ships powered their weapons in unison. A wave of blue and white light shimmered across the void as their cannons charged. The bridge shook, as if the very space around them trembled under the power. No one spoke. No one breathed. The crew of the Iron Fang finally understood. They had never been exploring. They had never been hunting. They had been walking into a carefully laid trap from the very start. And now the jaws had closed around them. Zirith's proud voice faltered. For the first time, fear cracked through his words. What What do they want from us? The human voice answered, cold and final, your silence. The last stand the bridge of the Iron Fang was silent. The crew sat frozen, staring at the endless circle of human warships that surrounded them. The darkness of space seemed alive with cold blue light from hundreds of human weapons, all aimed at them. For the first time, even Commander Zirith Kal hesitated. His proud words faltered as the weight of reality pressed against him. But then his pride roared louder than his fear. We will not die like caged animals, Zirith growled. His voice carried through the bridge, heavy and sharp. We are the Dominion. We will fight until the stars themselves burn out. His words tried to ignite the crew, but no fire answered. Officers avoided his eyes, hands trembling at their controls. Deep inside, they all knew the truth. There was no victory here. Still, Zirith would not yield. Redirect all power to the weapons, he barked. Overload the cannons if you must. If we strike, we take some of them with us. The engineer hesitated. Commander, if we overload, the weapons could burn out completely. Do it. Zirith thundered. The crew obeyed, their fear drowned by the commander's fury. Lights dimmed across the ship as energy was drained from life support. Shields and engines. Every spark of power went into the cannons. The Iron Fang shook as its mighty guns charged, glowing hotter than ever before. Zirith stood tall, his eyes locked on the main screen. The circle of human ships did not move. They simply waited, calm and patient, as if certain of their prey's final choice. Fire! Zirith roared. The cannons unleashed a blinding storm of plasma. Beams of furious light tore across the void, striking at the nearest human ships. Explosions flared in the darkness. Shockwaves rippled through the fleet. For a heartbeat, hope returned. The crew gasped. Some cheered. We hit them. The weapons officer shouted. We actually hit them. But their joy died as quickly as it was born. The explosions faded, revealing human ships still intact. Their shields had absorbed the storm. The Iron Fang's greatest strike had done nothing. The bridge fell silent again. The crew's faces turned pale with despair. Zirith gritted his teeth, refusing to believe what his eyes showed. Impossible, he whispered. Our cannons can pierce war stations. No ship could withstand. His words were cut short. The human fleet answered. Dozens of beams fired at once, not to destroy, but to disable. Each strike was precise, calculated, merciless. One hit the Iron Fang's engines, shutting them down completely. Another crippled its weapons. A third cut through its shields like paper. The ship shuddered under the storm. Consoles sparked, alarms screamed, crew members were thrown to the floor. In seconds, the Iron Fang was helpless, floating like broken prey in a hunter's snare. The humans did not destroy them. They didn't need to. Every system went dark. The mighty Iron Fang was nothing but a silent carcass in space. The bridge filled with smoke and fear. Officers looked at their commander with wide, hopeless eyes. Commander, it's over, Rin whispered. His voice shook, but his words carried truth. They're showing us they can end us at any moment. They're not fighting us. They're teaching us. Zirith slammed his fists against the armrest, sparks flying. His pride screamed louder than reason. I will not bow. I will never surrender to these humans. As if hearing his defiance, the human voice returned. Calm, cold, final. Your last stand is over. The crew froze. The voice echoed across the bridge like judgment itself. Then the screen lit up once more. A single human ship moved closer, drifting like a predator ready for the kill. Its sleek black hull reflected no light, its weapons glowing faintly. The crew watched in silence, hearts pounding, as the ship aimed directly at them. "Commander," Rin whispered again, his eyes full of dread. "They're not destroying us. They're deciding what to do with us." The human voice spoke one last time, sharper than a blade. "You will serve as the example." The screen went black. The crew of the Iron Fang realized the horror. The humans weren't just defeating them. They were crafting a message for the entire galaxy, and they were about to deliver it. Asterisk. The message to the galaxy. The Iron Fang drifted powerless in the cold silence of human space. Its weapons were dead, its engines broken, and its shields shattered. Once the pride of the Varrock Dominion, it was now nothing more than a crippled beast trapped in a hunter's cage. The crew sat in silence, their faces pale, their spirits broken. Smoke filled the bridge. Sparks fell from ruined consoles. Some officers stared at the floor, others at the endless ring of human ships outside. None dared to speak. Commander Zirith Kal still sat in his chair, his claws gripping the armrests so tightly they cut into the metal. His pride burned, but even he could not deny the truth anymore. The humans had won, but strangely, they had not finished them. The human fleet surrounded them, weapons armed, but no final strike came. Instead, the Iron Fang remained intact, floating. In the trap-like bait, Rin, a young navigator, whispered the thought everyone feared. They don't want to destroy us. They want to use us. The words echoed across the bridge like a curse. Before anyone could respond, the main screen flickered. A message appeared, human code, sharp and alien to their eyes. Then it translated into their own language. Transmission in progress. The crew froze. Every console lit up. Every system the humans had disabled was now under their control. The Iron Fang itself became a broadcasting tower. "Commander," the comms officer whispered in horror, "they're forcing us to send a signal. Not to. US-2 to everyone." The bridge fell silent. Zirith's eyes widened. He finally understood. This was not just about one ship. This was about the galaxy. Moments later, the message went out. A wideband transmission, unstoppable, carried across the stars. The galaxy's empires, stations, colonies, and ships all received it at once. Screens lit up in command centers and marketplaces, in royal courts and military war rooms. And what they saw froze them in fear. The image of the Iron Fang appeared crippled, smoking, drifting helpless in human space. The once mighty warship of the Dominion was now nothing but a broken husk. Then the human voice followed, calm, cold, clear. This ship entered human space. It was warned. It did not listen. This is the price. Across the galaxy, millions watched in stunned silence. The human fleet appeared next, surrounding the ship like wolves around prey. Sleek black vessels, silent and perfect, their weapons glowing faintly. The sight alone was enough to silence even the boldest leaders. The voice continued. Human space is closed. No ship will enter. No fleet will pass. This is not a warning. This is law. Gasps spread across councils and war rooms. Some leaders shook their heads in disbelief. Others sat frozen, unable to move. Even the most powerful empires felt the weight of the words. And then came the final blow. The human fleet fired not at the Iron Fang itself, but around it. Precise beams cut across its hull, carving symbols into the metal. Words burned deep, written in the Dominion's own language. Do not enter. When the lights cleared, the Iron Fang floated like a corpse branded with its crime. The human fleet did not destroy it. They left it alive. As a warning, across the galaxy, silence followed the transmission. Every race understood the message. If the greatest warship of the Dominion could be broken so easily, then no one was safe. On the bridge of the Iron Fang, the crew stared at the carved letters on their own hull, shown on the main screen. Their pride was gone, replaced by shame and terror. Rin whispered, his voice empty. "They've turned us into a message, a warning the galaxy will never forget." Zirith's claws trembled against the armrest. His pride still screamed, but even he could not deny the truth. He had not made history by conquering human space. He had made history by proving why no one dared to enter. The human voice returned one last time, echoing through the bridge. "Your ship will return, but you will never forget. And neither will your empire." The crew's eyes widened. For the first time, they realized their fate. The humans would not kill them. They would send them back, broken, humiliated, marked forever as the ship that entered human space and never truly returned. Asterisk. The return that never came. The Iron Fang was released. Engines flickered back to life, not by Dominion control, but by human hands guiding their systems. The crippled warship turned slowly in the void, its course fixed. The humans did not destroy it. They did something worse. They sent it home. The crew sat in silence, broken by fear and shame. No one cheered when the stars shifted toward Dominion space. No one spoke of victory. They had entered human space as conquerors, but they were returning as a warning. On the bridge, Commander Zirith Kal sat hunched in his chair. His claws still dug into the metal, but his fire was gone. He had seen true power cold, merciless, human power. For the first time in his life, he was not a commander, not even a warrior. He was a survivor, and a marked one. The journey back was long, but the humans made sure the galaxy never forgot. Every signal from the Iron Fang carried the same scar, the carved words across its hull. "Do not enter." Dominion ships sent to meet them saw it first, and horror spread. The pride of their fleet had been branded like cattle. When the Iron Fang finally entered Dominion space, the truth could no longer be hidden. Crowds gathered at stations. Leaders, generals, and council members watched in silence as the great warship limped home, scarred and powerless. The galaxy had waited to see what happened when someone defied the humans. Now they had their answer. The crew disembarked in silence. No songs of triumph, no shouts of pride. Their heads hung low. Their eyes were hollow. They had not fought a battle. They had survived a lesson, but the Dominion wanted answers. Zirith was dragged before the High Council. The great chamber was filled with voices demanding to know what had happened. Some called him a fool. Others demanded lies to cover the shame. But Zirith could only speak the truth. They knew we were coming. Every move we made, every word we spoke, they watched. We never hunted them. We were the ones being hunted. His voice shook as he spoke. We fired everything we had. It meant nothing. They could have destroyed us at any time. But they didn't. They wanted us alive, to spread their message. The council sat in silence. Even the loudest voices trembled. Now, the Dominion, feared across the stars, had been humbled in a single voyage, but the humans were not finished. Weeks later, strange signals began to appear across the galaxy. Not attacks, not invasions, just silence. Entire fleets sent to patrol. Near human space stopped sending reports. Colonies near the border reported seeing shadows in the stars, ships that appeared and vanished without a trace. No one dared to chase them. No one dared to follow Dot, and then came the last message. Across the galaxy, every comms network lit up. The same cold human voice spoke, not just to the Dominion, but to every race that listened. You have seen what happens when our borders are crossed. Do not test us again. For if you do, there will be no ship to return, only silence. The transmission ended. Fear spread like fire. Empires that once fought for dominance now whispered in quiet voices. Merchants changed their routes to avoid even the edge of human space. Soldiers who once laughed at the ghost stories now shivered at the name And the Iron Fang? It was no longer called the Pride of the Dominion. It was called the Ghost Ship, a cursed vessel, a reminder its crew never truly returned. Their bodies walked, their voices spoke, but their spirits were gone. They had looked into the dark heart of humanity and seen something the thin galaxy had always feared. Not weakness, not savagery, but patience. Patience so cold, so merciless, that even the strongest empire in the stars would never dare test it again. And so the story spread. From station to station, from empire to empire, whispered in taverns and war rooms alike, they entered human space once and never returned.